Chapter 8, Ethics and Safety of Recombinant DNA Technology. The learning objective for this topic is to discuss the pros and cons concerning the safety and ethics of recombinant DNA technology. So, we've just got the one topic, so let's just jump right in. So, as far as ethics and safety, the first thing we're going to talk about is whether it's right to be modifying these animals and these plants. Basically, it's a supremacist view that we have the right to modify animals for our own use. So the question is, do we even have that right? It's a good thing to keep in mind. It's something to be discussed. Long-term effects of consumption. The concern here is they haven't been in place long enough to know if it's going to cause problems in eating these GMOs. And a lot of people have decided that they don't want to find out. They don't want to be the lab rats. So I can go either way. Personally, because we're taking genes from organisms that I'm eating anyway, just putting them together, I kind of have a no worries attitude personally. But then on the other hand, weirder things have happened. You put two different things together that haven't been together and it could cause, say, a potential carcinogen. It could cause a toxin to us. Who knows? Personally, I'm not going to worry about it, but I can understand people who are worried about it. Transfer of transgenetics to other organisms. We take precautions in preventing transgenetics from getting to other organisms, but it happens. It happens all the time. It happens through conjugation between different strains of bacteria. Transduction. Viruses can take genes from the same species, the same serotype of bacteria to another one. So once they're out in the environment, those genes can get out. Transformation. Some organisms are naturally competent and they will pick up whatever DNA is in the environment and they will recombine themselves. Cross-pollination. We've seen it happen. And also, there's been a big push saying that one of the big seed companies, Monsanto, is evil because they've prevented cross-pollination from happening. Well, they put in a gene that makes it so that all the pollen that leaves their transgenic plants is sterile. Well, if you're downwind, then that means that you've got sterile pollen landing on your non-transgenic plants and you don't get any crops. You can't win. Possibility of new allergies and or pathogens. That's definitely a possibility. You never know. But then, are these allergies and pathogens likely to show up? Or are we going to get other allergies and other pathogens to show up? That's very likely as well too. So you gotta do a risk assessment. Genetic privacy. This has been a very big concern, especially when you get to bedside diagnostics. Not only are we developing the capability to determine what the genetics of your strep are, we can take a saliva sample and see that you're genetically predisposed to, say, alcoholism or breast cancer. Well, what if the insurance says that it's a pre-existing condition because you were born with it? Personally, I think we need to modify how insurance is run so that we don't have to worry about this. But then that gets into Obamacare, and that's a whole other political argument. But you can see how science is intricately interwoven into politics. Also, it could cause workplace prejudice. You know, if you're predisposed to alcoholism, is that going to lead to prejudice and we're going to say that we're not going to hire you even though you're not an alcoholic? And lastly, all of these techniques can be used for good or evil. The techniques that led to golden rice, which is intent, is to help people prevent blindness and sickness in these developing countries. You can use the same techniques to produce plant pathogens, in which, if I'm going to start a war with you, I could do a preemptive move and I can spray all of your crops with plant pathogens, wipe out your food supplies so your armies can't fight back. That would be very bad. Same thing with people pathogens. We've worried for years about bioterrorists spraying us with human pathogens. So, with any technique, it can be used for good or evil. We try to make sure it's used for only good. Well, that's it. Here's a reminder of the one and only learning objective that you need for this topic.